Hello students, in underwriting, the determination of underwriter's liability is the most important aspect. And in this video, I have taken the case of partial underwriting because the method that is used in partial underwriting is different from the one which is applied in complete underwriting. Now, first of all, we need to understand what partial underwriting is. Partial underwriting is one in which only a part of the shares that are issued to the general public is underwritten. For example, if 1 lakh shares are issued to the general public, and out of 1 lakh, if there is an underwriting agreement only for 80,000 shares, that is 80% of it, then this will be taken as that particular situation will be taken as partial underwriting. So what happens is, for the remaining 20,000 shares, we do not have any underwriting agreement. We do not have any underwriter for this 20,000 shares. Okay. So in this case, how do we determine the underwriter's liability? Now, as I have said, the method is different from that which is applied for complete underwriting. So what we have to do here is, for the balance not underwritten, that is in this case 20,000 is not underwritten by any of the underwriter. So for that balance, the company itself becomes the underwriter. You have to assume that for this 20,000, you have to take company as the underwriter. Okay, that is just for the purpose of determination of underwriter's liability. You have to take the company as the underwriter for this 20,000. And when you take the company as the underwriter, the benefit of unmarked forms will first go to the company. Okay, and in case there is a surplus, such surplus will be distributed among other underwriters in the ratio of their gross liability. Now this I will explain in the next problem. Now we have here one problem. It's a case of open and partial underwriting. A Limited issued 1 lakh shares of rupees 10 each. Now 60% of this issue was underwritten by X and Y. Okay, so because it is 60%, out of 1 lakh 60% is 60,000 shares. Only for 60,000 shares there is an underwriting agreement. So this sentence says that this is a case of partial underwriting. In the ratio of, so the 60% will be underwritten in the ratio of 3:2 by X and Y. Applications for 80,000 shares were received, out of which marked applications were 25,000 for X and for Y it is 12,000. Now you have to determine the underwriter's liability. Now I will explain the method to be used in the determination of underwriter's liability. We need to have this statement wherein I have a separate column for each of the underwriter. And you can see here there is a separate column for company, because as I have already explained, for the balance which is not underwritten by any of the underwriter, you have to take the company as the underwriter. Okay, so that is why I have here a separate column for company. Now the total issue is 1 lakh shares. Okay, out of that there is an underwriting agreement for 60% of the shares. So 60% of 1 lakh is 60,000 shares. So there is underwriting agreement for 60,000 shares. It also means that for the balance 40,000 shares, we do not have any underwriting agreement. So for 40,000, we have to take company as the underwriter, and I have to write this 40,000 in company's column. Now for X and Y, it is 60,000 shares. That is the total shares underwritten by X and Y. That will have to be divided in the ratio of 3:2. So for X, it will be, out of 60,000, the shares underwritten by X will be 3 divided by 5. That will give you 36,000. And for Y, it is 60,000. Out of 60,000, he has underwritten 2 divided by 5. So he has underwritten 24,000. So what did I do is, the total shares underwritten by 2 underwriters, now it is divided between X and Y in the ratio of 3:2. Now next thing is, we have to subtract from this all the applications. Unmarked applications as well as the marked applications will have to be deducted. Okay, that is same even for your complete underwriting, which I have already explained in my previous video. But in the case of unmarked applications, the treatment of unmarked applications will be different here in the case of partial underwriting. Okay, different from how we had treated it in the case of complete underwriting. So first we need to know how many applications, okay, are marked and how many of it is unmarked. So that can be done by giving this working note. Now, calculation of unmarked applications, you have a total applications. They have mentioned in the problem that total applications are 80,000, out of which marked applications are 25,000 and 12,000. So if you deduct marked applications from the total applications, whatever that remains, that is nothing but unmarked applications. So total applications are 80,000. Marked applications is 37,000. That will give you 43,000. So 43,000 are unmarked applications. Now, what we have to do with this unmarked applications? Now, the benefit of unmarked applications, because this is a partial underwriting, okay, you know that these 43,000 applications are received by the company directly from the public. So this, the benefit of these unmarked applications will be given to the company. Okay, you should not give this benefit to any of the underwriter, because there are some shares which is not underwritten by any of the underwriter. So the company will take the benefit. So it is 43,000. You have to write it in the company's column. We have a total of 43,000 here. Okay, so you should not write anything in the column, in the underwriter's column. They'll not get the benefit of unmarked applications. Now, when you do this, you have given the benefit of 43,000, but actual balance in the company's column was only 40,000. So you get a negative answer, and you know that whenever there is a negative answer, it will be considered as surplus. So that can be given to other underwriters. That can be used to reduce the liability of other underwriters. So this 3,000, what you have got, the surplus in the company's column now, that will be divided between X and Y. That is, they will get the benefit of these 3,000 surplus in the ratio of their gross liability. That is nothing but 3:2. Okay, that is 6,000, 24,000. You know that this is 3:2. So when I do this, it is equal to 3,000 into 3 divided by 5. That will give you 1,800, and in Y's column it is 3,000 into 2 divided by 5, 1,200. So the total 3,000, and you have to write here the plus 3,000. Okay, so now we have to deduct it, 30,000, this 1 lakh minus the unmarked applications. This is equal to 1 lakh minus the 43,000, it is 57,000. So you should not write anything here, because this is plus 3,000, this is deducted. Now next, you have 34,200 and 22,800, that is 36,000 minus the surplus 1,800, that will give you 34,200, and in the case of Y it is 22,800. Now the underwriters will get the benefit of marked applications. Okay, so marked applications are 25,000 and 12,000. You have to write it in the underwriters column, 25,000 and 12,000. 12,000. You have a balance of 9,200 and 10,800, and in a company's column you do not have anything, it is 0, and this total is, you have 25,000 plus 12,000, it is 37,000. 37,000. So that is 20,000. So the 20,000 shares will have to be taken up by two underwriter X and Y, and specifically X will have to take 9,200 and Y will have to take 10,800. So this is how we determine the underwriter's liability in the case of partial underwriting. Thank you.